Hello everyone and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Halleck. This week, public forums are being held across the state to give everyone a chance to weigh in on New York's ambitious new plan to fight climate change that aims to drastically reduce carbon emissions by using cleaner, greener, renewable energy sources. The State Climate Action Council has been gathering public input on its draft scoping plan for several weeks that aims to cut more than 85% of carbon emissions in the state by 2050 by heating buildings with electricity generated by wind, solar, and hydro instead of oil and natural gas, and converting millions of vehicles, including trucks and buses, to run on battery-powered electricity. The one and only hearing in the Adirondack Park on the draft scoping plan was held this week at the Wild Center in Tupper Lake, with both environmental advocates and critics of the new plan speaking out.
New York State currently emits more greenhouse gas emissions from our residential and commercial buildings than from any other sector. Over 30% of our greenhouse gas emissions and 60% of fossil fuels used in New York State are attributed to our homes and buildings. Building electric-ready homes makes both climate and financial sense.
I am a forester, and for a forester, every day is Earth Day. The Climate Action Council has done an admirable job of identifying mitigating strategies as summarized for forest management. It appears that the council understands the importance of responsible ownership of New York State forests. It is a well-known fact that managed forests sequester and store more carbon than unmanaged forests. I think you know that the New York State should incentivize landowners to continue to hold these lands. Part of the solution would be to lighten the burden of ownership and reducing real property taxes, and you've addressed that. The draft scoping plan discusses the importance of keeping forests as forests.
The Adirondacks Council, like many others, has serious questions about how several of the actions will be achieved given budgetary constraints and the understanding that a number of these actions are dependent on the passage of legislation by the state legislature. In order for the state to actualize its goals of 0% net emissions by 2050, the state must sequester 15% of its emissions. So essentially, New York's forests would need to double their sequestration rates to reach 60 million megatons of carbon. However, we believe that there are gaps in the forestry science informing the plan, given that there are forest scientists, experts who do not think that New York's forests can actually attain doubling their sequestration rates, which means that greater carbon cuts are needed in other sectors and sections of the plan.
To date, comments have focused on two general categories: those who favor the current draft with the focus on electrify everything approach, and those who favor a more diverse hybrid solution. Electrification will play a crucial role in meeting the climate goals, to be sure, and National Grid will electrify a lot, but there are enormous challenges in front of us. Demands a range of practical, pragmatic, cost-effective solutions beyond merely electrification. In the region around Tupper Lake, most residents rely on oil, propane, or wood for heating, and it's hard to see how the state can achieve climate goals without thinking more creatively about how to decarbonize combustion.
The plan is achievable, it's feasible, and it will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. The final plan should have a strong emphasis on building efficiencies, including weatherization and insulation.
The public hearings wrapped up this week, but written comments can still be sent to the Climate Action Council up until June 10th. The council will deliver a final plan to Governor Hochul and the state legislature by the end of the year.